This is the Ramana Maharshi 40 Verses on Reality Satsang, a time to listen, reflect, and deeply inquire into the self. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke, hosting this satsang. I'm a seeker, like you, sharing what we love. I've been blessed with years of deep teaching and practice that I bring to this satsang. This week's reading from 40 Verses on Reality is verse 32. Here are Ramana's words. Although the scriptures proclaim, Thou art that, it is only a sign of weakness of mind to meditate, I am that, not this, because you are eternally that. What has to be done is to investigate what one really is and remain that. The affirmation, I am that, is entirely mental. Does what you already are, now and always, need any affirmation? Can it may be made greater or lesser? Can reality be made more real? Eschewing this affirmation, what is to be done? Simply investigate the reality of your existence. Finding yourself to be open awareness without any attribute, just remain as that, who you are now and who you have always been. When you see this deeply, you know that there is no alternative, nothing else that you could ever be. Now, some notes on practice to experience this within yourself. How do you get beyond the mental in your inquiry? Sometimes this is hard, since the mind tries to turn everything into an object, even this non-objective reality. When you start to inquire, notice that you exist. You don't need your senses nor your thoughts to know that you exist. This existence is self-evident, something that you know at a level deeper than senses or thought. When you start your inquiry this way, you are already deeper than the mind. Knowing that, stay with and as that. Now for our videos for the week. First is from Adyasakti, and he is speaking also about verse 32.
Namaste, and welcome to another episode of Uladu Narpadu. So today we're going to tackle one of those persistent misunderstandings that a lot of people who don't think deeply fall into on the path. When the Holy Scriptures proclaim, you are that, which is declared to be the supreme. If you think, I am that, the supreme, and not this, the body composed of 5 sheaths, instead of oneself knowing and being oneself by scrutinizing what am I, it is due to absence of strength and maturity of mind, because that indeed always exists as one's own reality. Now the sentence structure, the syntax there is kind of tangly, and I had to edit it quite a bit, and it's still difficult in English. In Tamil, I guess it makes sense. But what he's saying here is that, okay, people read in the scriptures, in the Upanishads, you are that, tattvamasi. So they think, oh, I am that. And that's it. No, that's not it. See, the problem is the structure of language itself is dualistic. I am that. And when we're talking about ontology, we always talk about a sentence having 3 parts: the subject, the object, and the predicate. So, what do we got here? I am that. Subject, object, predicate. So, in other words, this is still duality. This is still making a distinction between I and that. So if you self-consciously assert, I am that, you are different from that. You see the point? There's still duality. You have not arrived. Granted, it may be the last stage of duality. It may be the final, last gasp of duality. But all of the Mahavakyas are like that. Sarva Kalvidam Brahma means everything that be is Brahma, Brahman, the absolute. But then there's still a distinction between the things that are and the absolute. You see? So that's still duality. Even the magnificent Gayatri mantra is still duality. Because it goes Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat Savitur Varenyam means that supreme, or that origin or source of all energies, we accept as the qualified one. See, this is even more elementary or more far away from actual duality. So, even though Gayatri Mantra is wonderful and highly beneficial in so many ways, it's still not the ultimate truth. So what is? Well, Ramana says it here. Knowing and being oneself by scrutinizing, what am I? What am I? Who am I? Where have I come from? Where is my origin, my source? What is my real nature? And all these questions have to be gone into, not verbally and philosophically, but experientially. That means looking within oneself. Huh? Yes, in the beginning you can contemplate the question, what am I? What am I? Am I this body? Am I this energy of life? Am I this mind? Am I this intelligence? Am I something beyond even that? Huh? Maybe I'm pure bliss. These are the five sheaths. The Annamaya kosha is the physical body. The Pranamaya kosha is the energy body. Manomaya kosha is the mind. Vijnanamaya kosha is the intelligence. And Anandamaya kosha is pure bliss, but it's also mixed with ignorance. So, discarding those five sheaths, neti neti, this is not it, this is not it, this is not it. Then, what am I? Am I these thoughts? No, that's part of the mind. Am I this life that moves from body to body, animating the body and making it appear to be alive and real? No, that's the pranamaya kosha. Am I this analyzing and ontologically contemplating process of meditation? Raja Yoga? No, I'm not that either. That's the Vijnanamaya kosha. And finally, am I this bliss? Ignorance is bliss, right? The Anandamaya kosha. Am I this ignorant bliss that thinks, oh, duh, everything's okay? No, I'm not that either. I am beyond all of that. I am beyond all conceptions. Because conceptions always involve distinctions. And distinctions are duality. So, to get beyond dualistic thinking and conceptual thought, the Buddha, for example, prescribed the jhanas, the 8 types of meditation that he called mental bases. They're bases, they're platforms. And on those platforms, certain cognitions take place. For example, the first jhana is directed thinking. One takes up a topic and thinks it through from beginning to end. And the Buddha's discourses, the Buddha Sutras, are wonderful examples of this first jhana in action. You should read them. Go to suttacentral.net and read some of these. They're wonderful. But that's only the first jhana. Second jhana is directed thinking without verbalization. And then so on, it goes through ecstasy and bliss, and then it gets to emptiness, nothingness, infinite consciousness, and finally to neither perception nor non-perception. That's the 8th jhana. Well, if you're in nothingness, if you are beyond all distinctions, beyond all conceptions, what is there to be aware of? Nothing. And so then, is there any way to tell if we are aware or not? No. So we might be percipient and we might not be percipient. Or maybe somehow both. Neither percipient nor non-percipient. That's the 8th jhana. What comes after that? Nibbana. Nibbana. So then you might say, well, if a person reaches that stage where the whole idea of who am I, or what am I, becomes moot, because there is no other thing, there is no distinction, there is no difference, there's no way to tell even if your perception is going or not. Then what is that? Is that oneness? No, it's not oneness. No. That's another trap that people fall into. Thinking, oh, it's all one. Because if you can think that it is one, you have duality again. If you can think that, I am one with Brahman, let's say. Well, that's a nice thought, but it still makes a distinction between I and Brahman. So it's still duality. See? Real oneness means, first of all, nothingness. Because there's no other thing to be aware of. No more divisions, no more distinctions, no difference between I and that. So that's why Ramana says knowing and being. If there's nothing to know but oneself, is what it comes down to. We have been so used to, so conditioned to being aware of other things outside, that even if we get ourselves into the 8th jhana and there's nothing else to be aware of, to the point where we're not even sure if we're aware or not, there's still ourself. So the whole point is, as we've discussed so many times before in our earlier series, The Secret of the Golden Flower, turn around the flow. Turn the energy, turn the attention around, back to yourself. And be only aware of yourself, which is pure awareness. So being aware of awareness is enlightenment. Just like Ramana used to say, if somebody was having a hard time getting this, he would say, do you exist? And of course the person would say yes. And he'd say, well, thank you for admitting that. That proves you're self-realized. You've already realized the final point. I am. To be aware of oneself is Brahman. That is what Brahman does, or is. Self-awareness. So Brahman is pure, unconditioned, non-dual awareness, aware of itself. That's how come the experience of Brahman is I. Not even I am. Because as soon as you have I am, implies I am that, which is duality. So when one is actually in the enlightened state, there's no keeping score. Well, there's I, and there's that, and then there's the other thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, as soon as you say I am one, well, then you have one, right? So you could easily have another one, and another one, and another one. There goes your nice non-dual state. So beyond even the concept of oneness is the concept I. Actually, it's not even a concept, it's only an experience. Well, what is there to say about it? I. Hi, I. So there's only I on that level. And there's only self-awareness. There's no other phenomenon. That is the real self-realization. That is the real state. And that is the mature and strong state of actual being. Om Tat Sat. Om Hari Om.
And now we will listen to my teacher, Nome, in a discourse, Being is Knowing.
Sri Bhagavan gives the instruction to know yourself. In this knowledge, being is itself the knowledge. It is undivided knowledge, non-dual knowledge, in that it has no alternative, and there is no division between a knower and the known. If you know yourself, your own being is found to be birthless, imperishable, undifferentiated, entirely formless, without condition, without state, immovable, immutable, and eternal. If you do not know yourself, the you that does not know does not exist. For the self is only one, without a second. Your existence is invariably singular. There are not two selves. The self is only one. So then, inquire within yourself, who am I? Abandoning any tendency to misidentify yourself with the body or its attributes, with the senses, with the mind. In other words, abandoning the tendency to misidentify with what is objective and not the self. Inquire deeply within yourself as to who am I? In the book entitled Who Am I?, the Maharshi says that silence is that in which no I arises, in which no I appears. In the book entitled Talks, he says, silence is I. How can he say both things? Silence is that in which there is no I, and silence is I. That in which misidentification with the body is gone, and in which there is no false assumption of individuality, is your true self. That is silence, the eyeless, true I. To know yourself is to abide in silence as silence. The knowledge is being. Being is self-luminous. Examine your own sense of existence. It is self-luminous and requires nothing else in order to know itself. At just such a depth, you should know your own nature.
And we will close with a short meditation, self-inquiry. Breathe in and breathe out long, slow breaths. Feel the breath as it comes in, as it goes out, and notice that you exist. You exist and you know that you exist. And investigate within yourself. What are you? Are you a body? Are you a sensing entity? Are you one who breathes? Are you a thought or a thinker? Are you an idea? Are you an ego, a separate individual? Are you one who knows the bliss of a quiet mind? Or are you the one who knows all of these? Are you the one who is constant while all of these change? Are you the one that just is, not is this or is that? Who am I? What is the nature of my identity? What is the nature of my existence? All right, let's close with a short chant. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for letting me share this teaching with you. This series on Ramana's 40 verses on reality will continue in the following weeks. If this satsang was of interest to you, I have more: a free book site, a YouTube site, my podcast, and my blog. The URLs will be on screen next. Namaste.